First off, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of this country, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and acknowledge elders past and present. Okay, now this is a community meeting, and the main thing I'm here to do is introduce from Dart Energy, Robert De Weir. Robert? Yeah. Let's go. Let's do this.
Okay. First of all, good evening, everybody. Thank you all for showing up. As was said earlier, this is very much a session for the residents, and we're pleased that so many of you have shown up. My name is Robert De Weir. I'm the CEO for Dart Energy in Australia, and I brought some colleagues along. There's Jason, and there's also Simon on the side there, and they'll be able to assist with the Q&A session that we're going to have later on. So what we'd like to talk about today are some of the facts around coal seam gas. What is it, and what it isn't. Also, a very brief introduction about Dart Energy as a company. We are a gas extraction company. I often see the word mining. We're not a mining company, we're a gas extraction company. Also would like to talk briefly about the differences between Queensland and New South Wales in terms of coal seam gas. There's a lot of commonalities, but there are also some key differences which I think are important to realise. And then I'd like to briefly talk about the energy mix for New South Wales going forward. What does the energy projection look like, and what is the role that gas can potentially play in there? Who's Dart Energy? We are in 8 different countries. We've got 150 people in total. We're an Australian company, so we're listed on the ASX. And I think it's important to note that we're currently in the exploration and testing phase. So we're not a production company just yet. We're very much focusing on the domestic side of the energy mix in New South Wales. So we're looking at power generation, small scale, mid scale, tri-generation, up to roughly 30 megawatts. There are a number of questions about St. Peter, so we're very keen to provide an update. And it's pretty much the same update as we gave 3 or 4 weeks ago. So the plan was to drill an exploration borehole, which to be drilled at the Dialer dump site. There was an approval for that. It was very much a vertical well, no fracking, no gas or water production. What I need to say is that the St. Peter site is not, or this license area, the wider Sydney area, is not a priority for us as a company. We've got different license areas that have a higher priority for us for a number of reasons. Also in the Sydney area, where this particular PL, which is called PL 463, we're still doing a number of technical evaluations. And the bottom line is that we're certainly not going to be drilling at St. Peter's this year, and we certainly not going to be drilling during 2012. And personally, I doubted whether we're going to be drilling at St. Peter's during 2013. We are an exploration company, so it's very hard to make an assessment as to what's going to happen 2014 onwards. So certainly no drilling for the next 2 or 3 years at this site. For the wider PEL, the Sydney area, we're not going to be doing any drilling until the second half of next year at the very earliest. Our position in terms of coal seam gas related issues, we are committed to be open and transparent. We have absolutely nothing to hide. And that's one of the reasons why we're keen to have sessions like this. Are we perfect? No, we're not. But we're certainly trying our best to do a good job and to engage with as many people as we can. We are committed to ensuring that coal seam gas can coexist with other land users. We're very committed to that. And also, it's got to be sustainable. It's got to be able to blend in and coexist with other activities that are ongoing. So when you look at certain, let's say an area like we're in today, you know, we'd only be looking at very large industrial sites. We're not going to be looking at parks or anything like that. We're looking at major easements where there's plenty of space and where you can really minimize the level of intrusiveness. So we're very committed to doing that. We don't use BTEX. We'll hear about BTEX in the news. We don't use BTEX as a direct additive, as the same pretty much as the other companies. Fracking, exploration and appraisal, there's absolutely no need for fracking. So we very much drill vertical wells. When we do a production test, we drill what we call surface to inseam wells. So you go down vertically and then horizontally into the seam. We pride ourselves in the standard of wells that we drill. We've got a very strong coal seam gas capability. Our wells are double cased, and what that means is that when you go through the aquifer, there's two thick layers of steel surrounded by cement. That cement is then checked just to make sure it properly seals off the aquifer. Because of course, you know, we realize how important it is to properly seal off the aquifer. But this is all about water. You know, what is the background of the water? It's old water. It can be treated, and there are a number of reuse options available. The key point I'd like to make here is that the difference between New South Wales and Queensland. Typically, in New South Wales, water production from a well is 50 to 100 times less than what you typically see in the surrounding Queensland. So a lot less water being produced, and therefore, the challenge to manage that water and the salt is therefore also a lot smaller. Just a quick one, this is the last slide I believe, on the energy gap that basically this is from an independent source. You can see that gas demand is going to go up significantly from where we are now till 2030. The bits in green are the amounts of gas that are currently contracted for that period. We know that more gas will be contracted as time goes on, but it's safe to say that there will be a significant gap between gas demand and gas supply over the coming decades. Now, there's a lot of coal seam gas in New South Wales. We believe that coal seam gas can be a real opportunity for the state to fill that gap. We see a need for gas as a transitional fuel, and we really believe that transparency and openness are the key to success. Engaging with people, talking to people, listening to people, and figure out a way how we can best coexist and making sure we're not going to jeopardize any other land users whatsoever.